Okay, we are good to go.
We had some good music going on. All right, here we go.
Oh, yes.
All right, we'll wait for Kathy.
Yeah, that was my radio. I forgot to turn it off.
I
It was
thought
pleasant. Thanks.
Okay, all right. Welcome to our regular meeting, Shasta City Council, Tuesday, September 1st, 2020. Call to order at 7 o'clock. Roll call. All council members are present. Approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Second.
No, second. We have a motion by Councilmember Givens and second by Councilmember Prout.
Councilmember Givens,
Aye.
Prout,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
and Alvarado.
Yes. Now moving on to public comments. Do you have anyone on public comments? Yasmina?
No public comment at this time.
Okay. Public comments is closed. So we'll go ahead and move on to council announcements and reports. We'll start off with Councilmember Prout.
Okay, I had 3 busy days. One of them we covered for AB 617, the area district and the monitoring for Shafter. They had a short meeting. We were working on agendas that will go through the end of this year, 2020. And then the next meeting scheduled for September the 3rd, and talking with the Department of Pesticides, and that'll be at 5:30 on the 3rd. Then I also attended in your place, Mayor, on 8/20 for the COG meeting. And it was an important meeting only because they approved a lot of funding for, and it included Shafter, funding for the federal money for transit. And the phase 2, Shafter gets that 184,000 plus on there. And then the other one was from the state transit assistance for good repair, which Shafter got 141,000. The other one had to do with Delano that had a big 3.5 million for their transit and streets and roads. So there was big money that was given out or approved. Then also Valley Voices. And if you recall, I mentioned Valley Voices are the 8 county districts in our San Joaquin Valley. And you know what's interesting that you might like to hear is that we are home, the Valley is home to 23 of 30 of the most disadvantaged communities in California. And so, you know, not just Sacramento, but as well as Washington, D.C. is watching us and I guess kind of sending more money this way. So we'll see. They're having this 3-day meeting in Washington, D.C. And if you remember, their topics are goods movement, reauthorization of money for transportation, passenger rail, air quality, and water supply, which of course is very important, not just for San Joaquin Valley, but the whole state. So their 3 days are scheduled and they're 30-minute sessions, and they're going to have a practice run this next week that will help everyone that's doing the presentations with these 30-minute interviews. It's kind of a new experience for me, but it is for the rest of them too. So should be good. We'll see what happens. If anything positive comes out of it, I'll keep you updated. That's all I have.
All right, thank you very much. Councilmember Givens.
Nothing more to add at this time.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Garcia.
Yes, just want to thank Mike James for getting the James Road looking really good. Looks like it's getting done. So that's nice to see that all the way from Lerdo all the way to Shafter Avenue, it's finally going to, it's going to look really good. And just want to thank him and everybody that was involved in that. And again, thank all the city employees, the lady in the office, everybody being safe, and even the community members. I see a lot of restaurants doing well, obeying the law and wearing masks and whatnot. And, just all the businesses out there, I think they're doing a really good job, and we can always just work to even do better. But as of now, I really just want to thank everybody that's adjusting really well. That's it.
All right, thank you for that, Councilmember Garcia. Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
I have nothing this time. Thank you.
All right, I didn't get a chance to do a lot this these last 2 weeks myself, but I do want to say thank you, Councilmember Proud, for attending Kern Cog for me. Something that came up the last minute, so thank you again for participating.
Yes, my pleasure.
We're going to go ahead and move on to consent calendar. Have everyone take a look at it, and can I get a motion?
I'll make a
I'll make a-
motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez and second by Councilmember Givens.
Councilmember Givens,
Aye.
Prout,
Yes,
Lopez,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
and Alvarado.
Yes. We'll now move on to public hearing. The first item on public hearing is number 1 is a tentative track 7375 approval.
Hello, Mayor and Council. This item will be presented to us by our planning Wayne.
He's on mute.
Look, there, I was on mute. Sorry, I apologize. Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council, we've got a slide presentation for you for this proposal. Let the city clerk get that loaded. All right, so this is tentative track number 7375. Next slide, please. Vernon Gunter is requesting your approval of a tentative track map that's located at the southeast corner of West Tulare Avenue and North Riker Street. The parcel is 3.33 acres in size, and he's proposing 10 single-family R1 residential lots on the property. Next slide, please. The site is designated for low-density residential use. It's zoned for single-family residential use. And as I said before, it's designed for 10 residential lots. They range in size from 11,635 square feet to 12,654 square feet in size. Next slide. So here's the map. All the lots are going to front on North Riker Street. They're nice, big, rectangular lots. The 3.3 acre parcel is completely surrounded by existing single-family residential development. So this is like an infill residential developments, the last acreage there that hasn't been developed. Next slide, please. So on August 11th, 2020, the Planning Commission reviewed and recommended to your council approval of the tentative track map. Next slide. I'd like to report there were no issues or concerns. No one from the public expressed any concerns at that public hearing before the Planning Commission. So there's a number of findings that the city's subdivision ordinance requires for the approval of the map, and this map is in substantial conformity with the MAP Act and the city's Title 16 subdivision ordinance. And next slide, please. Go ahead, next slide. The attached conditions of approval for the map are deemed necessary for the safety and welfare of the community. And all urban services are available for the development. There's no issue there. Next slide, please. The project is consistent with the city's general plan. It maintains the density and intensity for the low density residential development land use designation. Next slide. And pursuant to CEQA, this map is categorically exempt pursuant to section 15332 as infill development. Next slide, please. So staff is requesting that your council receive public testimony for the public hearing, find the project is categorically exempt from CEQA and adopt resolution number 2746, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Shafter approving tentative tract number 7375. The proposal to subdivide 3.3 acres into 10 single-family residential lots with conditions of approval located at the southeast corner of West Tulare Avenue and North Riker Street. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Wayne. Public comment, public hearing is open. Do we have anyone, Yasmina?
I know we did have a resident say that she would be on the line, so I'm gonna give her just a minute to see if she will speak.
Okay.
Just a couple of seconds.
My coffee is not as good as the one in the city.
Yeah, we haven't had to make any coffee, so. Okay, I don't see anyone raising their hand, so I think we are good to move forward.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Public hearing is closed now. Any questions from council?
I have none.
Not for me.
Proud?
I do, just, I'll wait till, does anyone have anything? No, I'll go last.
Okay, Councilmember Proud?
I just think it's gonna be a good project. I drove by there and it'll be fun to see that developed. Gonna be pretty deep lots, but you know, whoever's gonna live there is gonna have some nice play areas. But it should be very nice.
Okay, I do have a couple, Wayne was,
Gilbert, can I go before you and then you go last?
yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so that's Mr. Vernon Gundry, right?
That's correct.
Okay, yeah, does, I'm sure he's done this before, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and the only thing I'd like to maybe ask him, I think he's on Zoom, right?
Yes.
I believe he's on, correct.
Yeah, and just make, like what we not, hopefully that, he can financially do this project and not leave it like the one on Tulare, which is a quarter of a mile up, because it really hurts our community when something is left like that unfinished and undone. And to add to that, I'm 53 years old and I know the interest rates have never been this low. So it really hurts people that want to buy these houses if developers aren't financially sound and ready to get going. So I just hope, Vernon, don't take it personally or take it in the wrong way. Just I hope and pray that we can get it done. And I would really, like Kathy says, I'd really like to see some homes there because people in Shafter really need homes. So I'm all for it, and I'm glad you're here. And man, if the city can do anything for you, please let us know. And I'm glad you're just doing that.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Garcia. Hey, Wayne, I know in the past we used to have that as when we had bad weather, a lot of rain. And how's the drainage there? Is that all the drainage concerns?
Yeah, Mayor, the city engineer has already looked at that and it'll drain to existing drainage basins. There's absolutely no issue with drainage. He's already calculated, determined there's absolutely no issue. So we're
Okay.
good.
Okay.
And the square footage of the homes and what the price range, what is that gonna be? Does he know, or do you have an idea?
Well, Councilmember Garcia, the one of the requirements, if you approve the map tonight, is that the developer enter into and establish a development agreement with the city. And one of the primary issues of that development agreement is looking at the size and elevations of the home. So your council will have input on the proposed homes for that development. And I would imagine you'll see that in the next few months. So you will be able to see it. He hasn't proposed anything yet, but we'll get that development agreement process going if your council approves the map tonight, and we'll get that process going and get some homes and elevations submitted for your future and the Planning Commission and your council's future consideration.
Thank you, Wayne.
I was just going to add to that. It's just the pricing is going to be pretty much similar to the ones at the Freedom Home project, almost I guess is correct.
Yeah, right now, Mayor, I'm not sure what he's looking at. It'll all depend on the homes and what he's
Okay.
planning to build there.
All right. Thank you very much. And we'll go ahead and can I get a motion for public hearing number 1, tentative track 7375 approval?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Temp Lopez, second by Councilmember Givens.
Councilmember Givens,
Aye.
Prout,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
and Alvarado.
Yes, thank you. Moving on to number 2 in public hearing, landscaping and lighting district LL 001-206 annexation number 1.
Hello, Mayor and Council. This is a matter coming to you for a public hearing, and Mike James, our Public Works Director, will be making the presentation.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council, Tract 6713 is a 28-lot residential development planned immediately west of the Grimway Academy. And there are exhibits included with your staff report, I believe, for reference and for the benefit of those who don't have an agenda packet or are participating via Zoom. I'd like to have the city clerk, there it is, pull up the presentation. Thank you. Like most residential tracts or new ones, it was conditioned to extend public streets and utilities for the benefit of new homeowners. Another condition of the city's approval of this tract is that it be served by a landscape and lighting district. Now, the city has the option to create a new district or annex the tract into an existing district. We typically favor annexation, so the city has fewer districts to operate and manage, which is more effective and cost efficient for the city. Can we move on to slide 2, please? At the recommendation of staff, council previously initiated proceedings to annex this particular tract into District 001-2006, which is essentially tract 6437 at the southwest corner of Los Angeles and Shafter Avenue, which is outlined in red and shaded in purple. It's not the closest district that we can annex to, but it has a similar makeup of lights and streetscaping. And so the council also approved an engineer's report that recommends a new assessment rate that can take effect as early as next fiscal year for the annexed and existing district lots. Next slide, please. The engineer's report estimated costs to operate and maintain both streetscaping along a future extension of Elizabeth Avenue, as well as 12 additional public streetlights. Now, the annexation would result in a $117 annual assessment for existing and new lots. But keep in mind, the assessment for the new lots can't go into effect until they're officially assigned parcel numbers by the county. The developer, Self-Help Enterprises, has requested that the final map be recorded ahead of the city required improvements being built. So to comply with the district annexation requirement, the council is being asked to order the annexation at tonight's meeting. Resolution 2748 has been prepared by staff and reviewed by the city attorney for this purpose. But before we can proceed with the adoption, a public hearing must be conducted. A hearing has been noticed by the city clerk. The developer is actually allowed a 45-day notice of the hearing, which they have waived so that the council can take action tonight. And the developer has also completed a ballot to authorize district assessments recommended in the engineer's report. So at this time, staff requests that the council conduct the hearing to allow for public testimony on this matter. And at the close of the hearing, consider adoption of the resolution. And a representative from the developer may be participating in this meeting and may wish to speak on this topic. Either way, I'd be happy to answer any questions with that. And I'd ask at this time that you conduct the public hearing.
Thank you very much, Mr. James. Public hearing is open, and is there anyone, Yasmina?
I do not see any participants at this time wishing to speak.
Okay, thank you. Public hearing is closed. Now, any questions from council?
I have one. My question has to do with traffic flow in and out. Is it all on Elizabeth Street?
It appears that the Elizabeth is will be the immediate transportation route to the tract. The planning director might have additional insight beyond that.
Councilmember Prout, Mr. James is correct. There's the current ingress egress for that development is Elizabeth at this time. So the total lots are being proposed are 28. So the impact should be fairly minimal
Is Elizabeth being built as a full or a half street for now?
on just House Street for that particular development. Yes. There's a development to the south, a little to the east and south. When that development occurs, they'll build their north half, their south half, which the north half is already developed south of Grimway.
Okay, thank you.
And is this self-help development, or is this just a developer?
Councilmember Garcia, that it is self-help. They've requested for the development itself, they've requested a density bonus. The map, which your council approved back in maybe 2017, I believe, I don't recall, approved for 25. They acquired their property from Bob Smith with the intent of submitting a density bonus request to add 3 additional lots. And in their density bonus request under state law, they're allowed a reduction in lot width standards, which the normal estate lot width standard is 90 feet in width, and about 20 lots are being reduced to 80 feet in width and 78 feet in width. They vary. But that's the only real reduction in standards to generate those 28 lots that they've requested.
My next question was on Elizabeth there. Is it going to be a nice wide road, or is it going to be something like on State Street over there by Beach, by the cherry orchards, where we have only like one road is there? And I think, I don't know when that was done, probably in the 50s, but are these people at least going to expand it and make it normal? And again, not to be like the one over there on Thompson, over there on Los Angeles, where these developers get in here and they only build like one road for one car to fit. And I think it's tough for our fire department, our police officers, and just the people that live in that community. I mean, like East Orange used to be like that for so many years. And I just scratch my head and I don't understand how people can go on and build something like that. And we don't watch that better. I don't know if it's the city or if it's a developer, but I just kind of am confused on that part.
Councilmember Garcia, the developers that have developed there have met city standards, and they build their half of the road plus an additional, 3 or 4 feet of that road, but they are not required to build the entire right of way. The expense of building the entire right of way to the city standards would prevent any of the development that's occurred there to date. It would not be feasible. Fortunately, the city has to wait for when the property to the south develops, like the one just to the east of this map. When they develop, there's 8 or 9 lots that are going to front right on Elizabeth. And when that develops, then it'll be full street width there. And unfortunately, further to the east, until that area develops to the south, we just won't have that full developed right of way.
Now, Wayne, is that just how they do things in California? Is that how they do things in Shafter? Is that how they do things in other communities?
Every community does that, unless there's a development where there's an inherent health and safety risk regarding traffic, where the developer is required to condition for map approval has to build the entire right-of-way width. And in those cases, usually it's a development that has hundreds of lots to where the
Right.
developer can develop it. In this case, we just don't have that number of lots to justify requiring them to build the full right-of-way width all the way down to Shafter Avenue.
So Wayne,
Councilmember Garcia, if I may,
Sorry.
this is Mike with Public Works. I just wanted to add that the approved street improvement plans for this track call for 30 feet of pavement, which is significantly wider than state. So there should be adequate travel for both directions.
Very good.
Okay, well, thank you. It's just, I'm trying to put my signs over here on State Street and I can't even fit my truck on there. So it's, that's what I was wondering. I can't, you know, 2 vehicles, it's very hard. So, but thank you, Wayne. I appreciate it. Michael?
You bet.
Sure thing.
okay. May I get a motion, please? May I get a
I
motion?
move we approve.
Yeah, I said, okay.
Yeah, motion by Councilmember Proud, second by Councilmember Garcia.
Councilmember Prout,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
and Alvarado.
Yes. Moving on to managers, management report. Number 1 is a League of California City Delegates.
So the Mayor and Council, our city clerk will make the presentation. This is a matter related to the upcoming League of California Cities Annual Conference. And so with that, Yasmina?
Sure. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. Before you, we have an item regarding league voting delegate for the League of California Cities 2020 Virtual Annual Conference. This year it will be taking place October 7th through the 9th. And again, it will be held via virtual conference due to the COVID-19 pandemic. A special annual business meeting takes place on Friday of the conference, and that will be October 9th for the league membership to consider and take action on resolutions that establish league policy. It is necessary for council to designate a voting delegate and up to 2 alternate voting delegates. So our recommendation tonight is to appoint a city council member as voting delegate and up to 2 alternate voting delegates to vote on proposed League of California Cities annual conference, October 9th of 2020. And we're available for any questions.
And Yasmina, just really quick, can you add which of the council?
Yes, I have received confirmation from Councilmember Prout and Councilmember Givens that they will be attending via Zoom or virtually this year.
Okay. So between the 2 that are going already committed to go, who would like to be the voting delegate?
Yeah, so far I noticed that the league sent out only one consideration, and I didn't file back to see what it was, but shouldn't be any involved. It shouldn't take much. I don't have an issue.
Okay.
Why don't you take it, Kathy, and I'll follow up.
Okay, sounds good. So we have the primary voting delegate will be Councilmember Proud, and the second will be Councilmember Givens.
Yep.
So I have a question. No one else is planning to attend?
I
I mean, all you have to do is get on Zoom.
Yeah,
Yeah, I may do that. So just, I'm gonna look at my calendar.
When's the deadline?
The deadline, they didn't give a deadline, I think, because it's virtually. But I would recommend to register as soon as possible,
Okay.
Yeah,
or let me know as soon as possible so that I may register you.
yeah, I'm almost positive I'm gonna do it, Yasmina.
If
Daniel.
you can let me know, Councilmember Garcia, that would be great. Just to
Sure,
confirm. Thank you.
and then Councilmember Garcia will be the third, but second alternate.
Okay.
And okay, so we're good on that one. Do we need a motion?
Yes, please.
Okay, can I get a motion, please?
Motion for Proud as the delegate, Givens as the alternate, and Garcia as the second alternate.
I'll second that.
And we have a motion by Councilmember Givens, second by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Councilmember Prout,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Givens,
Aye.
Garcia,
Yes.
and Alvarado.
Yes, moving on to number 2 of the management report, North Shafter Well Feasibility Study Award.
So, Mayor and Council, this is a matter coming to you that is ties back to our water system and ongoing study work that we do related to that matter. So with that, our Public Works Director, Mike James, will make the presentation.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council. As you may recall, the city acquired approximately 30 acres near the southwest corner of Highway 43 and Fresno Avenue. Those parcels had been operated as a grape vineyard by the Wilson family, and the vineyard has since been removed. And staff is currently assessing the possibility of urban uses for that land, which include a community park and residential expansion. Another use that is probably in the best position to move forward is a new groundwater well and tank site. The site in mind is highlighted in a map included in your staff report. It's basically at the south end of the city-owned acquisition. The northern part of the core city tends to have the most issues with water pressure and flow. And most, as you probably know, most of the planned or likely development is immediately south of the city-owned parcels. So we view this as an ideal location for at least a new groundwater well. Before formally designing and bidding a well development project, some level of a feasibility study is typically performed. A study consists of sampling and testing both soil and water in the aquifer, and then ultimately identifying the best layers in the aquifer to pump from. This is particularly important when a well is sited on the outer portions of a service area. So we received a proposal from D. Jasper and Associates to perform the recommended study. And the proposal included with your agenda packet offers a package team of an engineering consultant and a drilling contractor. The engineer is D. Jasper and Associates, and the drilling contractor is Johnson Drilling. We've used this team before on past city well projects, and even Wasco has used this approach within the last few months, I understand. The proposal is valued at $215,000. About 3/4 of that cost is for the drilling operation. The drilling operation is referred to as a casing hammer technique, and it's used because of its ability to isolate sampling at certain depths with the desirable amount of precision. And they would essentially be drilling a test well and abandoning it after the tests. And the actual well that the city would use for production would be located within 100 feet of the test well. And really, there's only one driller, Johnson Drilling, that has a proven track record for this type of work. This type of work this proposal is viewed as engineering professional services, which is not subject to formal bidding. Staff would prefer not to experiment with other firms and drillers, just based on the importance of having a long-term water source that can deliver optimum water quantity and quality. So the data and analysis is provided in the study will be used to design a well that can work with the water conditions at this particular site. And the results of the study may even reveal that this is not a good site, but at least through the study, we'll know this before we run the risk of finding that out after a multi-million dollar site development project. The capital improvement program is funded this fiscal year for such a study without budget action required by the council. So tonight we're requesting authority to move forward with the study. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you, Mr. James. Any questions from council?
I'll make motion to move forward on that North Shafter well feasibility study.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Councilmember Garcia and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Councilmember Prout,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
and Alvarado.
Yes. Moving on to city managers' comments and reports. Department comments and reports. City manager.
Certainly, Mayor and Council, just 3 items. I just want to give a quick update. One, the COVID-19 update. As you know, our staff, Rachel in this case, is providing to you weekly numbers, not only countywide, but more specifically to Shafter as well. The month of August, as we know, was a month of high exposure and positive rates in Shafter.
We lost you. We lost you, city manager.
Shafter alone, we some of cases of those, only about 442 have fully recovered.
Excuse me, city manager.
This is not an indication of.
We had lost you there first. We had lost you there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been having poor internet connection all day. So, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I should apologize ahead. I just want to add that this is not an indication of less exposure. It just simply means that we've seen an increase of number of deaths throughout this month countywide. And as you know, Kern County continues to remain on the state monitoring list. We are on the 4th tier of the governor's 4-tier plan because of the widespread infection that we are seeing in Kern County in particular. And so there were new guidelines for our businesses, salons, barbershops, malls, libraries that took in effect yesterday, the 31st. However, bars remain closed. Restaurants can do curbside or outdoor service, and gyms and nail salons may continue to operate outdoors. We'll continue to monitor that. Yesterday, the Public Health Department, along with the CEO's office, held a press conference. A little bit of disappointing news based on what the county is predicting, that this could go into 2021, but potentially even in 2022 before.
We lost you, sir.
All of the restrictions are lifted from our businesses. We do know that a lot of the contaminations or infections are coming from gatherings, both socially and family gatherings. They rely on that data from the contact tracing they have in effect. We know that from the 2 holidays, Memorial Day and 4th of July, there was a spike 2-3 weeks after in the numbers, and that could be why we saw the numbers that we did in August. We have a holiday weekend coming up this Labor Day. So just a word of caution to our residents and everybody else, you know, as much as we want to be out with family and friends, barbecuing and enjoying the holidays, you know, to be mindful. They're not saying not to do it, but, you know, small gatherings, face masks, and maintain social distance. But we do have to be mindful of that. We've issued 2 temporary permits for outdoor sales and currently processing a 3rd one. On
City manager, I think we lost you again.
August 18th, the
City
Education
manager?
Ad Hoc Council, Alvarado, myself. Yes.
I think we lost you there for a little bit.
Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Like I said, my internet's been faulty all day, so I'll have to call AT&T tomorrow. As I was saying, the Education Partnership had a meeting with our educational partners. We had Richland, Grimway, the high school, and the recreation district. We talked about different topics related to childcare services, after-school programs, and as well as the library opening, the Wi-Fi project. And overall, it was a good, healthy discussion. The one takeaway that came from that is the group.
We lost you again, sir.
Maybe we should ask for a written report later.
All right.
To form a facial covering campaign committee, which from Alphas is taking a member of their team to participate in that campaign.
All right. City manager, we've been, excuse me, city manager, we were losing you. Maybe you could just give us a report.
A written
Yeah, maybe I
report.
could just send it in writing to you. I apologize. Not much I can do because of my internet.
Okay. Are you ready to? We'll go ahead and move on.
Yeah, and one of our department heads, Mike James, does have a report on a couple of the capital projects we have underway right now.
Okay, thank you.
Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council, just briefly, I wanted to touch on the 2 paving projects that are underway. One's actually wrapping up. As I'm sure you've seen today, the paving work has been substantially completed at James Street between Central and Shafter Avenue. should have that road restored and open by the end of this week. For Zucker Road, the pavement construction work continues between the canals, the Bryant Current and the Callaway Canal. That work is being performed by Granite Construction. That paving work will extend into next week. And then at the conclusion of their work, pavement sealing work at other areas of Zucker Road will resume by city crews. And you could expect road closures and detours to take place through next week. So, we'll be certain to post updates via social media and at the construction site with any changes related to traffic control and construction timing. So that concludes comments by Public Works.
All right, thank you, sir.
Mayor,
Yes. City manager? City manager, we lost you.
just one more quick update. Hopefully I'm not getting all data to the library. David?
Okay.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council. We have, as you know, we've been working on trying to ensure the continued operations of the Shafter branch of the library. And in that process, Bakersfield College approached us about partnering with the city and the county on supporting that effort. And that's something that both Bakersfield College and Kern County seem interested in pursuing further. We wanted to get your direction just on continuing that conversation, if that was something that was interesting to you. This is really about something beyond the COVID situation and trying to ensure that we have the ability to continue library service, especially as it's so integral to the work of the Learning Center. So we're prepared to have some beginning discussions. Obviously, we're not asking for approval of any specific arrangement, which would come back to you, but this is really just to kind of continue those conversations.
Mayor and Council, just want to add that this is all exploratory, just conceptual at the staff level. And as David has stated, anything further would come.
We lost, sir, we lost you.
Come back to you to get policy direction on the matter.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you very much. Can I get a motion to go into recess, closed session? The item in closed session is going to be a conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuing to California Government Code Section 54956-9A. Case name is the City of Portland versus FCC, City of Shafter Intervenor, case number 1872689/FCC number 1811.
I'll make a motion to go to closed session.
Okay.
Second.
A motion by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez, second by Councilmember Givens. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. And
Okay, bear with me while I put you in the breakout room. Please accept the invitation to join the breakout room.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay, let me put you in just 1 second.
Thank you.
think that's everybody, Gilbert.
Okay. Are we ready, Yasmina?
Yes, sir.
Okay. City Attorney Mr. Martinez, would you please report out?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Earlier today, the City Council recessed into closed session. The item is listed on the last page of the agenda. Tonight's item was conference with legal counsel, existing litigation in the case of City of Portland et al., including the City of Shafter versus the FCC, a case before the Ninth Circuit. With respect to that item, the City Council, by a 5-0 vote, authorized the filing of a rehearing or en banc review of that case. And so the City of Shafter will continue as a party in that case, attempting to seek en banc or rehearing review. That concludes our report.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Mr. City Attorney, Mr. Martinez. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
A motion by Mayor Pro Temp Lopez, second by Councilmember Givens to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All in
Aye.
favor? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you very much. Everybody take care.
Thank you. Have a good night.
And have
Thank you.
a happy holiday.
Setting up.